chose to be prideful. I have been critical. I have been critical of other people. I have been critical of myself, and especially myself. I mean, sometimes I'm so critical of myself, I can get in a depressed state. It don't be long, but I can just wear myself out. And I've been, in a situation where I needed attention and constant affirmation from others to remind myself of who I am. I mean, these are all things that have shown up in my life at different times and different states, depending on what was going on. And I just have to admit it and say, wow, that was pride? I didn't know that was considered being prideful. But how much have I missed out on being prideful? Unable to receive constructive criticism when somebody is just offering you a different view on what you may think about yourself or about what you're doing. And if they're willing to give you the feedback, why not take it? It's a gift. It's somebody giving you a view you don't have. And if you take that gift and are able to do something with it, you become better. This is what I found. So pride is something that we just gotta look at, and just know that other people can assist us with our dreams. Other people can help us get there. It's not a one pony show. It's not a situation where you have to do everything all by yourself. Sometimes instead of being a no, you need to be a yes. Sometimes instead of saying I'm okay, you need to say I'm not okay. Sometimes if somebody say, are you okay or what's wrong, you need to just say, thank you for asking and let me tell you what's wrong. Sometimes the faking it till you're making it don't always work. You don't have to always fake like you okay when you're not okay. That's pride. And so many times God is sending people in our lives to help out a situation, and we have too much pride to say yes. And we say no, and then we suffer, and then we resent God for not sending an answer. It's almost like the man that was on the roof and it was flooding, his whole area was flooding, and he got on the top of his house and wasn't nothing around him but water, and he's praying, God, please come save me. God, come save me. And a man in a boat came by. He said, come on, sir, get in the boat. He said, no, God is going to save me. And the man's like, come on, you better come on, the water's rising. He said, no, I'm waiting on God. And then the man pulled off. And then there was a helicopter. And the man with the helicopter pulled down the ladder and said, hey, come on, get on this ladder. We're trying to save you. He said, no, God is going to save me. I'm waiting on God. And he said, okay, well, there's nothing we can do. We got to go help some other people. And then he dies. And he gets up there and he said, God, why did you forsake me? He said, well, God said, what are you talking about? I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. So tonight, know that God is sending people in your lives. Know that he is sending help. Know that he wants you to get to where you are trying to go. But if you don't know how to say yes, if you don't know how to say I need help, if you don't know and don't have the courage to let people know when you're vulnerable and when you do need them, guess what? You don't get the help you need. So tonight, just think about this list. Just think about where pride is showing up in your life.